and, well, for a child, surely traumatic. He reached out and picked up a human head. It was the sole influence, obviously. Might have profoundly shaped his artistic viewpoint.
And it wasn't just this early shock that shaped him, right? His artistic journey began quite early, too. Welcome, curious minds, to the Deep Dive. Today, we're plunging into the tumultuous, brilliant, and sometimes, well, shockingly macabre world of a true Japanese art legend.
We really are.
We're talking about an artist so prolific, so irreverent, and just so undeniably talented that he earned himself this legendary nickname, the Painting Demon. Just that moniker alone, it tells you we're in for a wild ride, exploring a life that was as vibrant and unconventional as his art.
Indeed. Our mission today, really, is to sift through the fascinating layers of his life, as documented in our sources, which include a rich Wikipedia article, some academic texts, and biographical accounts, too.
Right.
We want to extract those essential insights, those aha moments, about a figure who truly stood at this crucial hinge, this pivot point, between two vastly different eras in Japanese history.
Yeah.
You'll discover how his art serves as this unique and, well, often provocative lens through which to view Japan's dramatic transformation from a feudal society to a rapidly modernizing nation.
That's right. Our subject is Kawanabe Kyosai, born Shuzaburo on May 18th, 1831, and passing away on April 26th, 1889. He was, far more than just a painter and caricaturist. He was, in many ways, a force of nature, a living embodiment of the dramatic shifts happening all around him.
And what's truly fascinating here is how art historian Timothy Clark sums him up. He calls him an individualist and an independent, perhaps the last virtuoso in traditional Japanese painting.
The last virtuoso, wow.
Think about that for a moment. It speaks to this unparalleled mastery combined with a unique, almost uncontainable spirit. His life literally spans the feudal Edo period and the modernizing Meiji period.
The transition itself is huge.
Exactly. This wasn't just a quiet change for Japan. It was seismic, a revolution.
Yeah.
And Kyōsai was right there, an unparalleled observer and commentator on an entire society in flux.
So he didn't just witness history?
No, he drew it. He caricatured it. He transformed it into art, offering us this vital window into that tumultuous time. It's an incredible perspective.
Okay, let's unpack this then. He was a samurai's son, born Shuzaburo in Koga Ishimachi, Shimusa province. Now, on the surface, that sounds like maybe a relatively standard, albeit privileged, upbringing for the time.
You'd think so, right?
But his childhood was anything but ordinary. Our sources reveal this truly dramatic and, frankly, pretty unsettling event that occurred when he was just 9 years old.
Ah, yes.
It's the kind of incident that just makes you wonder about the profound impact it must have had on the formation of his artistic soul,
You're absolutely right to highlight this one. This particular detail is strikingly vivid. It gives you an immediate, almost visceral insight into the kind of experiences that could shape an artist who'd later be known for his wild and undisciplined nature.
So what happened?
Okay, imagine this scene. It's 1840, and the young Shuzaburo, just a boy of 9, is exploring the banks of the Kanda River.
Okay.
Now, the river, we're told, was swollen. It was this powerful churning torrent after days of relentless heavy rain. It turned its usual calm flow into this dangerous, muddy expanse. It was amidst all this debris and turbulent water that he encountered something utterly gruesome and, well, for a child, surely traumatic.
Okay.
He spotted an object in the swirling currents, and in a moment of maybe childish curiosity, maybe morbid fascination, he reached out and picked up a human head.
No.
Yes. Separated from its corpse, washed ashore by the raging waters.
A 9-year-old. Just picture that. A 9-year-old not just seeing, but physically handling such a stark, undeniable image of mortality and the macabre. It's difficult not to speculate, right?
Yeah.
How deeply could such an incident imprint itself on a developing mind, especially one that would later become so artistically expressive?
Exactly.
How directly do our sources suggest did this early visceral encounter with death manifest in his unique artistic perspective? Was it like a clear shift, or did it just amplify something already there?
Well, we can't definitively say it was the sole influence, obviously, but the sources certainly suggest it was formative. It's entirely plausible that this early, direct exposure to the grotesque, the fragility of life, and the raw, untamed power of nature might have profoundly shaped his artistic viewpoint.
It makes sense.
Kyosai's later body of work is famously replete with themes that embrace the supernatural, the macabre, demons, ghosts, and often this darkly humorous, sometimes unsettling depiction of human nature and folklore.
Right, the yukai and all that.
Exactly. He created countless images of yukai, those fantastic, often terrifying supernatural creatures, as well as scenes of hell, spectral figures, and the raw physicality of the human condition, often twisted into satirical or grotesque forms.
So this incident could have really opened his eyes to that side of things.
It could very well have opened his eyes to a side of reality that most people instinctively avoid, giving him a unique lens, maybe, through which to view the world, which then translated directly into his art. It speaks to a certain fearlessness, perhaps even an acceptance of the darker, less palatable aspects of existence.
Which became a hallmark for him.
Absolutely. It set him apart from his contemporaries. It's almost like he stared into the abyss at a young age and found not just horror, but also this wellspring of creative inspiration.
And it wasn't just this early shock that shaped him, right? His artistic journey began quite early, too.
It did.
After that profound childhood experience, he had a brief but pretty significant stint as a boy working with the renowned ukiyo artist Utagawa Kuniyoshi.
Kuniyoki, big name.
For those unfamiliar, ukiyo-e, or pictures of the floating world, was this hugely popular art form depicting everyday life, kabuki actors, courtesans, famous landscapes. It was really accessible to the masses.
Very much so.
So this early exposure to such vibrant, popular art forms, the kind that really spoke to ordinary people, must have laid a crucial foundation for his later accessibility and his knack for connecting with a wide audience.
It absolutely provided a grounding in the popular dynamic artistic currents of the time. It let him understand the visual language that resonated with the general populace. However, his formal training took him in a very different direction initially. At a mere 6 years old, he began his artistic instruction, and by the age of 7 or 8, he formally entered the prestigious Kana school, studying under Maimoru Tua.
The Kani school, that sounds serious.
Well, it was. A school renowned for its highly formalized academic traditions, often associated with painting for the shogunate, the imperial court, the samurai elite. Its aesthetic principles emphasize ink wash, precise brushstrokes, traditional subjects like landscapes, birds and flowers, historical or religious narratives.
Very structured.
Very. And it's here, within this rigid structure of the Kana school, that Tua, his master, bestowed upon him that infamous nickname, the painting demon.
The painting demon. It conjures an image, doesn't it? What kind of student operating within such a traditional discipline system earns a moniker like that?
Exactly.
You have to wonder if it was like a term of exasperated admiration for this uncontrollable talent, or maybe a frustrated acknowledgement of a creative force that just couldn't be contained by convention.
And you can almost picture the clash.
Yeah. The rigid brushwork prescribed by the Kana masters met with this innate, almost violent energy of young Kyosai. Was it the discipline itself that sparked his demonic rebellion, or was it just realizing his creative drive couldn't be contained by the quiet contemplation preferred by the shogunate's painters?
It strongly suggests a student who, despite being technically brilliant, and he absolutely was, his later mastery shows that possessed this innate energy and a creative spirit that chafed against the strictures of tradition. The Kana school emphasized lineage, precise brushwork, strict adherence to established forms and subjects, prioritizing classical beauty and decorum. For a true demon of painting, someone with an explosive, maybe even chaotic creative drive, that environment must have felt incredibly confining.
So he didn't stick around.
Our sources confirm this inherent conflict. Kyosai soon abandoned the formal traditions for the greater freedom of the popular school. He only stayed with the Kana school for about 3 years.
Only 3 years? But he must have learned a lot.
Oh, absolutely. This isn't to say his training was wasted. Quite the opposite. He absorbed the technical discipline, the precise brush control, the understanding of composition. But he refused to be limited by its conservative subject matter or its, well, state aesthetic.
So he mastered the rules.
Precisely so he could break them with informed intent. That's how it seems.
That's fascinating because it points to this inherent tension within him, this kind of creative dichotomy. He had this rigorous classical training, which gave him an incredible technical foundation, that technically excellent draftsmanship our sources keep highlighting. But he also had this wild and undisciplined nature that propelled him towards the popular, the unconventional, the unbridled expression. It's this unique fusion, isn't it, of the formal and the free, the classical and the popular, the refined and the raw, that truly defines his unique artistic voice.
Absolutely.
It's almost like he absorbed the deep river of tradition but chose to forge his own torrent, powerful and unpredictable.
Exactly. This rebellious streak, combined with his undeniable technical mastery, allowed him to create a style that was truly unlike anything else. He wasn't simply abandoning tradition, he was integrating its strengths with the vibrancy and immediacy of popular art.
Laying the groundwork for
his groundbreaking work in caricature and beyond. It was a clear departure from the solemn dignity often associated with more traditional forms, embracing an exuberance that became his signature and in many ways a reflection of the tumultuous times he lived through.
And here's where it gets really interesting, because Kyōsai didn't just live through an era of artistic change. He lived through a period of profound social and political upheaval in Japan.
A massive one.
He witnessed firsthand the seismic transformation from the feudal Edo period, ruled by the Tokugawa shogunate for over 2 centuries, to the modern Meiji period, which began in 1868 with the restoration of imperial rule. This context is absolutely crucial for understanding why his political work became so potent and, well, at times, so dangerous for him.
He was literally at the epicenter of a nation reinventing itself. For centuries, Japan had maintained this policy of strict isolation, sakoku, a feudal system with the shogun as the de facto ruler and the emperor as a symbolic figurehead.
Until Perry arrived.
Right. The arrival of Western powers, particularly American Commodore Matthew Perry in 1853, forced Japan to open its borders, triggering immense internal conflict. This led to a period of intense political foment, civil unrest, and ultimately the Meiji Restoration,
where the emperor regained power.
The emperor regained effective power, and Japan rapidly embraced westernization and modernization. It was during this period of immense upheaval, leading up to and following the Revolution of 1867, that Kyōsai truly attained his formidable reputation as a caricaturist.
So his art became commentary.
Sharp commentary, biting satire, and often a scathing critique of the powers that be, regardless of who was in charge. His brush became a weapon.
And he certainly didn't pull any punches, did he? Speaking of his political commentary, the Battle of the Farts. I mean, it sounds outrageous even now.
Doesn't it?
What was it about that piece specifically that made it such a potent and critically dangerous form of satire in his time?
Okay, to truly grasp its genius, you have to imagine the sheer audacity of it. The Battle of the Farts, a very long painting on Makamono, a horizontal Japanese hand scroll.
Right.
Kite took the literal vulgarity of flatulence, which was, a common, if crude, element in Japanese popular culture and humor, and elevated it into this searing political allegory.
So the farts representing what political hot air?
Pretty much. Each fart or expulsion of gas could be interpreted as the rhetorical blasts, the empty pronouncements, or maybe the destructive actions of the warring political factions. Our sources suggest that audiences at the time would have immediately recognized specific visual cues, caricatured figures, maybe even subtle allusions to current events.
Ah, so it was coded.
Exactly. It made the battle intensely personal and topical.
Yeah.
It wasn't really about literal bodily functions. It was a biting visual metaphor for the absurd, often chaotic conflicts between factions vying for control, the old guard versus the new, samurai versus commoners, conservatives versus reformers.
So it was clever satire.
A masterpiece of subversive art. Using lowbrow humor to deliver high-stakes critique, bypassing official censorship with its apparent silliness, yet landing these devastating blows on the self-important elites. It allowed him to comment on the chaos without explicitly naming names, making it both effective and, as we'll see, incredibly risky.
And wielding that weapon, that mischievous wit, came with a steep price. Our sources explicitly state that he was arrested and imprisoned not once, not twice, but 3 times by the authorities of the shogunate.
3 times.
That's astonishing. It's a testament to how effective and provocative his art truly was. He wasn't just drawing, he was actively challenging power, and the authorities clearly felt the sting of his satire. What does that say about his personal courage, that he just kept pushing those boundaries?
It speaks volumes about his unwavering independence and his almost stubborn fearlessness. Each arrest would have been a significant ordeal, interrogation, confinement. Yet he consistently returned to his art with undiminished zeal. And what's even more remarkable is that his troubles didn't end when the power shifted. Soon after the emperor assumed effective control and the Meiji government was established, there was this significant event. A great congress of painters and men of letters was held.
Okay.
Kyōsai, ever the independent spirit, was there. And true to form, he again expressed his opinion of the new movement, the new political climate, in a caricature.
Oh no, not again.
Yep. Despite it being a great popular success among the populace, it also landed him in the hands of the police once more. This time, of course, it was from the new opposite party, the Meiji authorities.
So it didn't matter who was in charge, he'd criticize them.
Exactly. This incident truly underscores his consistent, almost principled refusal to be silenced or to compromise his artistic integrity no matter who was in power. He was an equal opportunity satirist, holding a mirror up to all forms of authority and pretension.
It's a wonderful illustration of his principled, if rebellious, nature. He didn't just switch allegiances with the prevailing wind. He maintained his critical eye, even when it meant significant personal risk.
Absolutely.
And speaking of switching, he actually did make a significant change to his own name in 1871. He changed the first character of his art name, Kyōsai. It was originally written with the character meaning wild or crazy, a very fitting descriptor for the painting demon.
Very fitting indeed.
But after one of his releases from prison, he changed it to which means dawn or enlightenment.
And what's truly fascinating here is the symbolic weight of that change. And our sources invite us to ponder its meaning. Was it a genuine reflection of newfound wisdom? Maybe a mellowing of his wild nature? Perhaps brought on by the sobering experience of prison and a desire to turn over a new leaf?
No.
Or, as many scholars suggest, was it a clever disguise? A strategic rebranding to signal more enlightened compliance to the new authorities, while still harboring that enduring rebellious spirit beneath the surface.
Given what happened at that Congress of Painters.
Exactly. Given his continued outspokenness and willingness to court controversy even after this change, one might strongly lean towards the latter interpretation. A brilliant act of subversion, a subtle wink to those who truly understood him.
Playing with perception.
A powerful statement, playing with perception and subtly mocking the very idea of forced conformity. And just as a practical note for anyone researching him or encountering his name, it's important to know that this character has two readings, Kyo and Gyo, which is why his name is sometimes, though falsely, romanized as
Kawanabe Kyosai.
The change wasn't about fundamentally altering his core identity, it seems, but rather about navigating a dangerous political landscape with cunning.
So we've seen Kyōsai as this fearless political caricaturist, but to truly appreciate the breadth of his genius, we need to zoom out and look at the vast, almost dizzying array of subjects he tackled.
We really do.
His political work, as biting as it was just one facet of a diamond with countless glittering surfaces. How did his mastery of satire, or maybe just his energy, translate into his other works? Those pieces exploring Japanese culture, myths, nature.
Well, his range was truly astonishing. It reveals an artist who refused to be confined to a single genre or theme. He was a prolific painter of countless subjects drawn from the rich tapestry of Japanese folklore.
Like the animal scrolls.
Exactly. Giving vivid life to creatures like the Nekomata, that fearsome cat monster, or the mischievous Tanuki badger, the shape-shifting trickster at sea in his dynamic, frolicking animals, scrolls where animals carried human behavior. He also depicted darker, more fantastical elements of mythology and popular belief.
Like the hell scenes.
Yes, things like A Beauty in Front of King Emma's Mirror, that scene from the Buddhist afterlife where the mirror reveals all sins, or the striking and haunting Hell Courtesan, which often features a courtesan figure draped in robes adorned with images of hell, embodies both beauty and damnation.
Complex stuff.
These works weren't just illustrative. They explored complex themes of morality, illusion, transformation, often with this unique blend of horror and humor.
And it wasn't just the fantastical or theatrical, though. He had a deep appreciation for the natural world and for traditional performance arts, too, right?
Oh, absolutely. He painted exquisite nature pieces, like his stunning flowers and birds from 1881, which wasn't just admired, but even exhibited at the Second National Industrial Exhibition. That showcases his technical skill in capturing the delicate beauty of the natural world.
So he could do delicate, too.
Definitely. Other works like Full Moon with Crow on Plum Branch demonstrate his mastery of traditional motifs, often imbuing them with a vibrant, almost restless energy. And then there's Never Seen Before True Picture of a Live Wild Tiger, which shows his dramatic flair and imaginative power, a tiger mid-roar leaping with incredible vitality.
Wow. And religious themes.
Yes, he engaged deeply with religious themes, too, creating powerful works like The Temptation of Shakyamuni, depicting the Buddha resisting evil, and the goddess Kwannon on a dragon, often rendered on traditional kakejiku frames, those vertical hanging scrolls.
Right.
He even delved into the very creation myth of Japan, with Izanagi and Izanami giving birth to Japan around 1870, showing the primordial deities creating the islands. His canvas truly was the world around him and beyond, from the mundane to the mythical.
This incredible breadth and his distinctive style, that's why people compare him to Hokusai.
It's precisely why many consider him the greatest successor of Hokusai, even though he was never Hokusai's pupil.
Interesting. How do they compare?
Well, our sources note that he may not have possessed Hokusai's dignity, power, or reticence, which might suggest a certain solemnity or quiet grandeur in Hokusai's work.
Like the Great Wave.
Exactly. Kyōsai, though, more than compensated with a fantastic exuberance, which consistently imbued his technically excellent draftsmanship with immense interest. Hokusai was perhaps more about capturing the sublime and the iconic. Kyōsai was about capturing the vital, the immediate, the often outrageous energy of life itself.
So his own unique voice.
Undeniably his own. A blend of meticulous skill and unbridled imagination, allowing him to infuse traditional subjects with a dynamism that was truly groundbreaking. He took those foundational techniques from the Kana school and applied them to the popular subjects and wild imagination inspired by his early ukiyo-e exposure, creating this hybrid style that was just uniquely his.
And it's clear his art was a direct mirror of his persona. Our sources highlight how his work reflected his wild and undisciplined nature, and quite transparently, occasionally his love of drink.
You can almost feel it, can't you?
Yeah. The spontaneous energy, the irreverence, the sheer vitality pouring out of his brushstrokes. There are anecdotes from his contemporaries, right?
Yeah.
About his boisterous personality, his quick wit, his tendency to draw even while socializing. Maybe especially while socializing, often with sake in hand.
That sounds about right. It's a testament to how deeply interwoven his personal life and experiences were with his artistic expression. He didn't just paint subjects. He painted himself into every piece, making his art feel intensely personal and alive.
His life informed his art.
Indeed. Gave it a raw, unvarnished quality that set him apart from the more academic or restrained artists of his time. And this leads us to another truly remarkable, almost prophetic aspect of his legacy.
Okay.
This raises an important question, one that connects him directly to a globally dominant art form today. Did Kyōsai really create the first manga magazine?
It sounds incredibly modern, doesn't it? The idea of a manga magazine in the 1870s. But yes, our sources confirm that in 1874, Kyōsai created what is considered to be the very first manga magazine, Eshinbun Nipponchi. He did this in collaboration with Kanagaki Robun, who was a prominent writer and satirist of the era.
It's an incredible piece of historical context for an art form that has become so dominant globally today, influencing comics, animation, popular culture worldwide.
But it wasn't entirely out of the blue.
No, while it was groundbreaking, it wasn't an entirely isolated invention. The magazine was, in fact, heavily influenced by Japan Punch.
Ah, Workman's magazine.
Exactly. Charles Wordman's Japan Punch, a satirical magazine founded back in 1862 by the British cartoonist who was working in Japan. Workman's Japan Punch was itself a direct adaptation of the British satirical magazine Punch, known for its political cartoons and humorous illustrations.
So Kyōsai was adapting a Western format?
Pretty much, drawing inspiration from contemporary Western satirical illustration, adapting its format and satirical approach for a Japanese audience. However, Eshinbun Nipponchi itself had a very simple style of drawings, focusing on bold lines and often, well, crude humor.
And it wasn't a huge hit.
Perhaps due to its novelty, its raw experimental nature, or just the times. Japan was still in the very early stages of mass print media. It didn't become widely popular, had a very short run.
How short?
Just 3 issues. A blink-and-you-miss-it phenomenon, really, but one that left this indelible mark on the history of sequential art.
A short run, but truly significant. Even if it wasn't a commercial blockbuster, its existence marks a pivotal moment, laying a foundation for what would later evolve into the phenomena of manga.
Precisely.
Let's take a specific example from it to really understand its flavor. Bake Guko. That translates to school for spooks, right?
Like the one. And this piece perfectly illustrates his genius for combining social commentary with these fantastical elements.
How so?
Well, Beibe Gukko directly references a major social change that was sweeping Japan. The Meiji government's implementation of a compulsory education system in August 1872.
A huge shift.
Monumental, aiming to rapidly modernize the nation and raise literacy rates. In Kyosai's caricature, you see this serious, transformative policy presented with his characteristic irreverence and fantastical twist.
So who's in the school?
You see both demons and kappa, those mythical Japanese water imps, typically known for mischief rather than studiousness attending school. They're learning vocabulary related to their daily lives as supernatural beings.
That's hilarious.
And even Shuki, the demon quiller, a traditional figure usually depicted in fearsome archaic attire, is shown here as a Western uniformed teacher.
A comment on westernization.
A subtle but sharp commentary on the era's rapid westernization and the adoption of foreign customs and knowledge. And in a classic Kyosai touch, you have some hapless goblins trying to enter the school, only to be comically blown away by the wind god.
Why?
Maybe symbolizing the resistance to this new compulsory system. Or just the sheer force of change blowing through society. Who knows for sure, but it's visually witty.
That's brilliant. It's social critique, historical documentation, and pure imaginative fun all rolled into one. It shows how, even in his early manga, he was still the same painting demon, using humor and the supernatural to comment on the world around him.
Absolutely.
He's taking a serious government initiative compulsory education and turning it into this delightful, if slightly absurd, classroom for monsters. It's accessible, witty, and uniquely Kyosai.
It demonstrates his unique ability to make profound social commentary through entertaining, visually dynamic narratives. This really underlines his foresight into the potential of sequential art as a tool for both satire and storytelling.
It truly encapsulates his ability to blend the satirical with the fantastical, making his commentary both sharp and entertaining. This foresight into a new form of sequential art, even if short-lived in its initial iteration, underlines his innovative spirit and marks him as a true pioneer.
Definitely a pioneer.
Given the sheer volume, the artistic quality, and the groundbreaking nature of his work, it's no surprise that Kyosai's art has been preserved and studied extensively, both in Japan and internationally. His unique vision clearly resonated far beyond his own time and borders.
Absolutely. Significant collections of his works are held in some of the world's most prestigious institutions, which is really a testament to his global artistic impact.
Where can people see them?
Well, you'll find a fine collection in the British Museum in London, revered for its comprehensive holdings of Asian art. There are also good examples in the National Art Library at South Kensington, another vital repository of art and design history, and the Guimet Museum in Paris, which specializes in Asian art.
So major European museums.
Yes, these international holdings speak to the universal appeal and artistic merit recognized far beyond Japan's borders. And, importantly, there's a dedicated institution in his homeland, the Kawanabe Kyosai Memorial Museum.
Good. Where's that?
It was established in 1977 in Warabi, Saitama Prefecture, just outside Tokyo. It's a crucial hub for understanding and appreciating his legacy, housing many of his works and acting as a center for research and exhibitions.
It's fantastic that there's a specific place dedicated to him, especially one so comprehensive. So, Kyosai's remarkable journey, filled with art, satire, personal drama, and this unyielding creativity, it concluded on April 26, 1889. He passed away at the age of 57 at Zurinji Temple in Tokyo, his resting place now located in Taichu Ward. His passing was actually noted by Erwin Belz, a German physician who lived in Japan and kept extensive diaries. He recorded the cause of death as gastric cancer.
A life lived as vividly as his art cut short.
Yeah.
His physical journey ended, but his legacy, as we've discussed, has only grown, reaching far beyond the shores of Japan. And what's particularly striking, really a fitting cosmic recognition of his impact, is the fact that a crater on Mercury.
On Mercury, the planet.
Yes. A crater on Mercury, the closest planet to the sun, has been named in his honor. the Kyōsai crater.
That's amazing.
It's a truly unique testament to his lasting global recognition, cementing his place not just in art history, but in the annals of human endeavor, visible even from space.
It's a powerful symbol, isn't it, of an artist whose influence transcended earthly boundaries.
And there you have it, Kawanabe Kyosai, the painting demon. A virtuoso who defied convention, captured a nation in flux, and influenced art forms that would only truly blossom long after his passing. He was a force, an individualist, a visionary who saw the world with both a critical eye and this fantastically exuberant imagination.
It truly was.
His life, marked by both personal trauma and fierce independence, truly shaped every stroke of his brush. He was indeed a demon of painting in the very best sense, a master whose wild spirit fueled his genius, allowing him to bridge historical periods and artistic styles in a way few others could. What stands out to you about Kyōsai's life and work? How do you see his ability to blend the sacred with the profane, the traditional with the wildly innovative, often with that mischievous wink?
He truly makes you think about how art can be such a powerful mirror of society,
Right.
a vehicle for both exquisite beauty and piercing critique. It's a testament to how an artist's personal experiences, no matter how shocking or rebellious, like that childhood encounter with the macabre on the Konda River, or his repeated arrests for his satirical jabs, can profoundly shape their creative output. His wild and undisciplined nature wasn't a hindrance. It seems like it was the very wellspring of his genius and innovation. It challenges the idea that great art must always emerge from serene or conventional origin.
That's a great point.
Kyōsai shows us that sometimes the most profound insights, the most groundbreaking styles, come from those willing to embrace the chaos, to find beauty and truth in the unconventional, and to use their art to provoke, delight, and fundamentally capture the spirit of their age.
It certainly invites us to reconsider the origins of brilliance. Sometimes it's the very defiance of norms, the embrace of the chaotic elements of life, that allows an artist to create something truly unprecedented and enduring. It's a reminder that authenticity, even if it's a wild authenticity, often leads to the most impactful and memorable art.
A fascinating thought to mull over, as always. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the incredible life and legacy of Kawanabe Kyōsai. We hope you feel a little more well-informed and a lot more intrigued by this extraordinary figure.